Alright guys, this is the video that everyone's been waiting. I apologize for the tardiness in getting this out, but let's get straight down to it. In this video I want to touch on a quick review of the Evate 2. Most of you guys by now have already seen all the photographs, the explanations I provided, but we still want to go through it. But we also want to do a side-by-side comparison as much as we can between the Evate 1 and the new Evate 2. Now, granted, let me just be upfront, I might miss a point or two, and if I do, please just point it out in a text or in a private email and say, hey man, you forgot something about this or that, and just kind of post it up as a follow-up. Alright, let's get down to it. The Evate 1, the original Evate was 18.5 by 12, tapering up to 10, and by 6, right? Evate 2 is 19.5 by 13, tapering up to 11 by 7. So the extra inch in the depth is in the main compartment. Now, if you guys remember, the Evate 1 was created with feedback from a lot of end users on the EDC community forum. Now, the Evate 2 was created with feedback from many more of you end users than we had originally done. So the feedback given was that the main compartment has to be about an inch deeper. So we did it exactly with that, right? Now let's touch on areas, one area at a time, so you can see the actual differences between the two. Volume, 25 liters, 30 liters. Front organizer. Okay, let me unzip this. Right off the top, you can see the main difference. Okay, now let me get straight to the lining first. The lining for the Evate 1, there were several options. The lining for the Evate 2 is only one option: 210 gray diamond, ripstop nylon. All right. The front organizer for the Evate 1 was fixed. For the organizer for Evate 2 is not. You have two options. You have a Type 1 organizer, Type 2 organizer, which I will show after this. Or later in the video. Now, next, you noticed there's nothing by the cover, behind the back wall of the front cover. You now have a zippered mesh pocket. This was one of the things that you guys asked for. Next, now it's not part of the front organizer, but you can see the quick access zippered pocket from up front here, right? This one was done just with the nylon lining. This one now has Nylex inside. I'm going to flip it over and kind of open it up a little bit for you to see. You wanted something softer inside for your glasses. First of all, I don't recommend anybody dumping a pair of glasses that cost an arm and a leg inside without a case. I always put my glasses in a case, but hey, for those of you who feel there's a need for it, well, there's Nylex right now, right? So that's the immediate difference between the two in the front organizer. Now let's look at the back of the backpack. Alright, now we're looking at the rear of the backpacks. This is the back. Now guys, here's the bottom line. In the first Evate 1 we had removable shoulder straps, right? Because it's not fixed or sewn directly to the top of the pack. And then we had a pack that the back was basically padded with the same fabric as the body of the backpack. Those were among the few revisions that I saw requested in the list for improvements on the Evate 2. So what did we do? We changed it. Now the shoulder straps is sewn directly onto the backpack. There's an 8 cm or 3 inch plus drop between the top and the bottom. So that the idea basically behind this is that, so if you need this backpack to be higher on you, the lift loaders right here, if you pull it and tighten it, it will automatically give you a higher hold. Alright? Now, moving along. One of the other things that everyone was asking for was a mesh bag. So okay, guess what we did? Your wish is our command. We added a mesh bag. Alright, we gave it a nice pattern, we gave it a nice thick padding, and then you have a proper air channel to go with that. Let me just point out, this, ladies and gentlemen, is not a carry handle. It's a piece of webbing with elastic on both sides. This is actually a luggage handle through, right? You know how it is. I've seen a lot of you guys basically use the Evade and you're running through airports and you have a rolling you have a roller with you too at the same time. Sometimes it's easy for you to just kind of pass it through, so you only have to worry about one handle versus carrying two separate items. So this, once again, is not a carry handle. Can you do it? Yeah, you can carry it. But if it's going to be a carry handle, I will not include the elastics at the end. This is a luggage handle pass-through. Alright? What else is there? Shoulder straps. Okay, the shoulder straps. This, as you can, if you remember, was the latest option for the Evade 1. So we took the same design, gave it more padding, and we made it a little bit more softer towards the edge, so that it will be more comfortable for longer use. That's the difference between the Evade 1 and Evade 2 on the back. Now let's look at the bottom of the backpack. Nothing here, right? One of the things, one of the requests I saw was basically meant for, it was a very simple request. Someone said, hey, can you put two straps at the bottom of the pack? And I'm thinking to myself, this is not a military backpack. You're not going camping with it, so why do you need it? Well, from one father to another, I understood exactly what he meant. If I'm going to take my kids out for a day out in soccer or football or field hockey, and I get a bag of dirty clothes, I don't want it in my Evade. I totally agree. So we added this. It's fully removable. For those of you who don't need it, this is not sold as an option. It comes in the backpack. If it is there, if you need it, use it. If you don't, take it off. Alright, two more things before I get into the main compartment. One, the concealed carry compartment, we kept it exactly the way it is with one exception. The opening now is slightly smaller than the original one. You can see the original one right here. And this one is slightly smaller. Why was it smaller? Not by choice, because of the design of the back padding. We were forced to create a smaller one, but plenty of space, guys, to get things in and out. All right. The second thing is the laptop compartment. Now, we didn't change anything here at all. This is one of the few things from the Evade, the first Evade, that everybody, I really didn't see any or many complaints about this. Everybody seems to like it. There's a lot of padding, albeit some are saying that with the Evade 2, because of the increase in size, the laptop compartment is going to be bigger. Correct. It is going to be bigger if you're running smaller laptops like a 15-inch MacBook Pro. But if you're running a 17-inch gaming laptop, guess what? It used to be a snug fit in this one. It's going to fit beautifully in this one. Right? Now there's a removable padding at the bottom. It's Velcro down. If you don't need this, you can easily remove it for your 17-inch. Just keep that in mind. Alright? Now, let's move on to the main compartment. Alright guys, before we get into the main compartment, let me touch on one thing that I forgot on the outside, the compression straps. The first Evade 1, if you remember, or at least most of you, that we only had one compression strap and it was not removable. One of the requests we received was to have two compression straps given the increase in size. So what do you have here? Two compression straps, but both of these are removable. Alright? The only thing that's going to be different in the production units that will be sent to you when your orders are placed is that it's no longer going to be 1 inch. These things are just too bulky, so we're going to reduce it down to 3/4 inch, just like the original Evade, but they're both going to be removable. When I touch on the subject of the beaver tail, when we get to accessories, I'll show you how the top compression straps buckles are going to work with the beaver tail. Alright, let's move on to the main compartment. Alright, main compartment. So, inside front panel of the main compartment, we left it as is. Everybody likes the two mesh zippered pockets with a hanger. It stays exactly the same. The main change is at the back. Now, lining, in the Evade 1 you had a slew of options, different colors, different linings. For Evade 2 we're standardizing everything. We like the 210 ripstop nylon. We made the gray has a standard lining for all the Evades, the new Evades. Moving along, 2 columns of loop corresponds with 2 columns of hooks on and optional accessories, the PALS panel. I'll get back to this in a second. Let's move along. The webbing loops. Now the webbing loops were originally created basically to mount the PALS panel. Out of a mistake in the studio, instead of leaving the shock cord only in the front, they added a second one at the back. I didn't want to confuse the issue, so I said, you know what, just go ahead and leave the second set of shock cord inside. So if you guys can use it as a compression for straps for the inside, please go ahead and use it. Otherwise, we will eventually be working on 3/4 inch webbing compression straps for the inside. In the meantime, some of these loops 1, 2, 3, 4 will be required to correspond with the PALS, the suspender clips on the PALS panel. Very simple, guys. You start the Velcro process from the bottom, moving up, and as you're moving up, you clip it in, you Velcro, continue with the Velcro, and then clip on the last set. Trust me, these 4 pieces are going to be more than sufficient to hold quite a bit of weight on this PALS panel. Alright, what do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. That's quite a bit of PALS loop. You can Velcro mount or MOLLE mount compatible pouches, or if you have the correct straps for it, even compact weapon systems. Alright, PALS panel option onto the back, the new back wall of the Evade 2. The other thing that we did, well, based on the request, was to shorten the hangers. Most of you guys already know that the hangers are meant for the Matroskaya pouches, the new ones and also the new deep ones. The old ones and the current present ones and the new deep ones. So this is basically meant for it. Those who don't know what the Matroskaya pouches are, please feel free to reach out to me. I'll explain to you exactly what those things are for. Alright, that's the main compartment. The final thing I want to talk about is the size of the main compartment. In the beginning of this video, I mentioned the dimensions that has changed for the Evade 2. The original Evade had a 4-inch depth for the main compartment. This one has 5. One of the requests was add 1 inch to the depth to make it thicker. So there you have it. Right? Now let's move along to the remaining accessories. Alright, moving on to accessories. We're going to move back to the front compartment first. Remember I told you that you now have an option between 2 types of organizers, a Type 1 or Type 2, that Velcro mounts into it. This is a Type 1. There's no elastic webbing. This is a Type 2, it has elastic webbing. So when you order the Evade 2, you have an option. It is included in the price of the main backpack itself. You have option number 1, Type 1, or 2. You can just decide whichever one you want. If you want an option, you want to get a second one, it's an optional purchase for you, right? All right. Next, and the other accessories that everyone's been asking. We spoke about this recently. We shot some photographs about it. It will be the beaver tail. You've seen the photographs by now. I'm quite sure of it. You will see the photographs again when you make your final purchase. There are 4 corresponding webbing mounting points. It corresponds with these clip-ons. It clips on, and then on the top end, this is basically what I was talking to you about. You remove the top compression strap, and this goes directly into the female end of the buckle, just like that. So you have the beaver tail. The beaver tail has 2 millimeter fiberglass rods inside, so it'll give you that expansion and memory to retain it back when you don't put anything else. Alright, I've been using this as for my ballistic helmets, and it holds very well. The one and final accessory, which unfortunately I didn't bring it with me to the table for this video, would be the hip belt. There are loop points on both sides of the rear or the backpack that allows you to mount the padded hip belt. The hip belt, if you look carefully at the option, it will have shark skin neoprene at the back. It gives you the padding and it gives you a non-slip motion to it. Okay, there's not going to be a lot of movement because of the shark skin neoprene. So ladies and gents, there you have it. A rush through review of the Evade 2. Within an hour of this video, going to be once it's uploaded, within an hour, I'm going to make the final order open to all the guys who have pre-ordered, starting from the top of the list and slowly moving down. Alright, if there's anything else left over, I will invite everyone else who's been on the wait list. Thanks very much. I hope you guys enjoy the new EVIT 2, and guys, thank you very much for participating in all the revisions that we have finally put into the EVIT 2. It is not an easy job. We cannot do 100% of it, but we did achieve quite the majority of it. Thanks.